Hello there, you're watching Villa Miniatures. In this episode I'm going to paint Cthulhu from Cthulhu Death May Die. I'm also going to paint the Starspawn, Cthulhu's little friend, along with some episode monsters, deep ones and hunting horrors. Anyway, I primed these with a Zenithal spray, black from below, red from straight on, and then white from the top. I haven't managed to cover everything. It's -degrees outside, so I did go down into the cellar to spray these, which is also quite cold, but yeah, and a bit dark, so I didn't actually see what I was doing. So I do have to fix this a little bit by doing some dry brushing. White dry brush is also lighter than what you get with the rattle can, or at least what you get when you spray it on top of darker colors that haven't really had time to dry, which is how I like to do the Zenithal thing. So this is a good thing to do anyway, to bring out all the folds in the sculpt. This one is green to beige. I think I want to include, well, it's actually a little bit of purple in there as well. I think I want to do something similar, but with much more purple. To give it more life, purple and red. Anyway, I'm starting off with sepia. I think I'm going to focus that around the areas that I want to be most human, if that makes sense. So the face and the front of the torso is where I want to concentrate this. Here I have a little bit of the camo shade, which might be a good kind of transitional color, and then green contrast paint. This is the Nurgle green, which is a little bit towards the yellow, which I kind of like. Maybe some green on the tentacles too, but then gradually having it turning into pink. I think that's cool, with like some green tentacles on the top, and then more and more pink the further down get. Maybe even some of the red mixed in there, as it covers a little bit more. Yeah, around the eyes too. Let's see. Yeah, I need it to be more green, so I'm adding another. Well, this one's more blue, but I think it's a good. Oh wow, it's more intense than I remembered. Was this the correct one? Yeah, whatever, it works. Try to make a bit of a transition between the two greens here. On the back, I think I will go more green, except for the parts or the wings here. It should be more pink. As you can see, I am not cleaning my brush in between changing colors, which might stress some of you out a bit. But I think that's a very good way to speed paint, kind of do a wet blending technique. And I will have to clean a lot of this up, but it does give some pretty good transitions. And in about 5 to 10 minutes, I have something quite good, really. I mean, it looks very messy now, but I'm going to clean up everything, and yeah, I think it's like a good base color for all the parts. So now I will do something similar with the others while I wait for this one to dry. Maybe actually more base this time. I did go a bit overboard with the green on Cthulhu when I tried to wash things out. A little bit reddish, and also around the mouth and tentacles. I think I can hit them already with the red and the purple, as these tentacles come from within the creature's mouth, and yeah, so it's a bit different. So maybe I'll just have these red to have them different from the body, while Cthulhu's tentacles are kind of it is their mouth, but it's not coming out of their mouth, if that makes sense. feels more like a part of the actual being. Well, a tongue is definitely the part of a being, but you know what I mean, maybe. I should start thinking about what I say during these videos, or maybe start doing voiceovers after, but that does seem like a hassle, instead of just painting and talking and hoping for the best. I do like this Plague Bearer green, or Plague Bearer flesh, or whatever it's called. It would be fun to actually paint the Plague Bearer at some point. It's been a very long time since I painted some straight out of the box Warhammer miniatures. I remember it being fun, so maybe I should give it a try again. Type almost metallic color, it seems, which would be fun, but I am already having all these out, so I will do the same as I did with the Cthulhu monster. Although maybe if I skip the light green and go straight to the dark blue green, it will have a different finish, which might read more of a kind of dark black. I don't know. Armory bits and spikes. And again, I think pinkish wing color is quite nice. It's just starting to dry is what I realized now that I picked it up and was ready to paint on it. So it's not dry, but I think we'll manage. Here I have some very thinned down white paint. I have thinned it out with a lot of water, making it quite transparent, and this will make it appear so that it's not pure white when it dries, because some of the color of the shaded or the washed areas will appear through, so it will be a little bit green in this area, a little bit purplish down here. This is of course very possible to do with dry brushing, although then you would have to wait for it to dry completely, not just to have like the tops dry. You couldn't dry brush in here, you would end up picking up the washes and smearing them all over. If you take your time with this step, and also kind of clean it up with some shades again later, the result is it's just as good as a layering technique, which takes a lot longer. I need to figure out what to do on the back, although I quite like it, as I mentioned when putting it down. Now it's almost dried, but these the transition here between the dry-brush green parts and where the red is really visible in the highlights, because the back was almost red, kind of makes me want to try doing this Senatal primer with the red, but cover it even less with white, or really kind of concentrate where I put down the white spray paint and then the white dry brush after, to kind of keep some of this keep some of this. It's quite cool. Though I think I will go in with some sharp highlights, because I want this one to look very wet, and then some very bright highlights work very well. I need a little break from the edge highlighting, so I think I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing, very soft, which also helps to bring some of these areas together, the ones that I have lightly stippled. This area would probably be very annoying to paint, layering, or lay in some highlight lines. You can also see that as I shaded this one, or colored in everything at the same time with the thin colors, they do blend together. So this wing that I added the purple around, or in the fleshy parts around the fingers, they have bled together, so there's green going all the way up here and into the recesses and stuff. But with a little bit of dry brushing and highlights, you kind of hide that transition. And also, it doesn't matter if you have, especially on organic pieces, if you have some of the same colors going around. That really doesn't matter much. It does look nice if the different areas have distinct colors, but I don't think, for example, this is a problem where this finger is very pink and these parts are quite green. Yeah, and here you can see that I suddenly started dragging out something that looks very wet, and that is because, and also the white turned out to be a light green. That's because it's not completely dry. I think it's under the armpit there. It's still a bit of a blob of paint. Ooh, this area is quite cool. This thigh here. Very good textures. Here I didn't pay that much attention to these while they dried, so the different washes have kind of mixed together. But it's in a very interesting way. So here it's the green has kind of run down into the sepia. Yeah, I kind of like it. It's cool. It's time to strengthen some of the colors on this beast. And I am kind of using these contrast paints and shades here as glazes. So I'm changing the color on like the entire piece. Also the white highlights that I did will now turn out to not be so white anymore. Usually I have a little bit of green when I do this as well, because I do like to use different colors. But in this case I think I'm going with a warmer tone. So this is the sepia shade. And I want to do this because the miniature itself is green, and it's also kind of blue-green towards the bottom of the feet, which makes it nice to have a different temperature in the color around it. So I think this more brown gray will work better than a cold gray based on more green. I think that's going to be too similar to whatever I have already on the feet. And I have a little bit of null oil too that I'm mixing in towards the center of the base, just to have a little variation and also to have a kind of cast shadow under the monster. And there we have it. Cthulhu and the Starspawn is ready to join the other painted minis for Cthulhu Death May Die. I'm looking forward to adding this one to the Old One collection and having a game with another Old One. I did receive their newest season 3, the other day, and I also got the new extra Old One, so I actually have 3 more Old Ones to cover in the future.
Wow.